allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We had executive session at 5:15 to discuss legal and personnel up until a couple minutes after 6. And may we have a roll call, please, Jen?
Mrs. Beagle?
Here.
Mrs. Boyce?
Here.
Mrs. Burns?
Here.
Mrs. Delaney?
Here.
Mrs. McBride?
Here.
Mr. McIntyre?
Here.
Mr. Mock?
Here.
Mr. Ritter?
Here.
Mrs. Warning?
Here. So, presentations, we have the Gateway and Middle School counselors here tonight. Come on up.
Yeah.
No puppy?
You have to talk into the microphone so people online can hear you.
Okay.
So good evening. For those of you that I may not have met before, my name is Kathy Johnston. I am the 8th grade counselor at Gateway Middle School.
I'm Jamie Edwards, and I'm the 7th grade counselor at GMS.
I'm Betty Howard, and I'm the 6th grade counselor at GMS.
And I'm Rich Taylor, and I'm the 5th grade school counselor at GMS.
So back in February, we had our annual advisory meeting, and Dr. Chakey and Dr. Rossi were both in attendance. And Dr. Chakey had asked us to come tonight to present to you about the things that we have been doing as a department this entire year, kind of showcasing some of the programs that we've been doing with our students. So we would like to give you just a snippet of the things that go on within our department, the things that we run, and how the things that we've been doing with our students so far this year.
Okay, I'll start. So again, this is just a brief or a quick kind of overview. Some of the everyday kind of general things that we do include the classroom lessons on some of the things you see here. We do a lesson on Safe to Say. We have a student ambassador program that we do training for each year. There's a 5th grade speaker series, high school transition, career lessons. We do several classroom lessons throughout the year. That's kind of just built into our yearly programming. In addition to, we'll talk briefly about a few of the groups we run, in addition to individual sessions with students who are having issues with peers or home life or schedules. So that's kind of the day-to-day. And so what we really want to highlight quickly tonight is some of the extra things that we get to do because we have 4 full-time counselors in a very understanding and flexible administration that gives us the opportunity to do some of this extra stuff. Again, so we run groups. Those can look like those can be varied. We do some general social skills, organizational skills groups with students either who, if it's identified in their IEP that they need a group or their 504 plan, or if they're recommended as part of our SAT program. We identify students who are at risk of failing and do some specific academic, like executive functioning and study skill groups with those students. In 7th grade, we also have ROCKS. It's Ruling Our Experiences. So this is a group that for the past 2 years has been grant funded by the Jewish Women's Foundation. And it is a program that's based out of a nonprofit in Columbus. There are groups all over the country. I was trained as a facilitator maybe 7 years ago. The group focuses on helping girls to take control of their own experiences. So the lessons are weekly, and we talk about assertive communication, self-defense, self-esteem, how to have healthy relationships, how to stay away from girl drama, the whole gamut. Our post report from 2025 showed high satisfaction with girls participating, increased confidence, improved safety and self-protection skills, and improved relationship skills. This is covered up. But in respect, trust, conflict management, and communication. So this is our last year's group. We have 12 girls enrolled this year. We just started in February, and so far it's been great.
Okay, I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I know myself and Carrie Kunish was able to come and explain what we do with the Girls Mentoring Program, and that's up and running and it's pretty strong. We were able to take the girls last week to an Empower Her Summit, and they got a lot of great ideas. I know a couple of their students came out saying that, you know, maybe I want to run a nonprofit. Like, they didn't think because they're so young that they could possibly do that. And these are high school girls, so they had a lot of like motivational speakers there, and they were women with varying ages, and they just really had a powerful experience just seeing that there's so much for them to do there. We have a Forbes Hospital tour coming up, and then the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science is going to be in April with this group. We did have a successful polar plunge. We raised $3,200. I just wanted to add that.
So, in addition to the special programming, Mrs. Johnson and I teamed up. Mrs. Howard and Ms. Kunitz, they started it with the girls groups. We followed up with the boys groups. We do it with the 8th grade boys. And we've been all over the place. We started one, Mrs. Johnson did a fabulous job this year. She found this place over in Murraysville, Bella Terra Stables. It was working with horses. Dr. Rossi, we did not ride. It was very interesting, but it was very therapeutic, and that's what their goal is with having the horses and bringing kids in. We've had our career fair, which was phenomenal, going down to the David Lawrence Convention Center, which led to other things too. The JA experience, bringing the VR headsets in. We took the boys on a tour to Cal U. We campus tour. We met with the director of admissions. Talked to him for a while. He was just really good. Just giving the boys an insight of like what it would be like to come to school, to a college, and they got that college experience because school was in session. The food bank, I warned the boys when we went there. I was like, it's going to be work, and it is. We packed almost 1,000 boxes of food, and it was nice because the boys intermingled with other volunteers over there at the Pittsburgh Food Bank. So that was, they really were appreciative when we left. They're like, it was a lot of work. They're like, you're not kidding this today. But they wanted to go home. And then Wednesday, Mrs. Johnson, you want to talk about the hospitality?
Yeah, we're going to it's a hospitality career fair down at the Westin Pittsburgh. So the boys will get to engage in different activities where they will interact with chefs. They will find out all about the hospitality industries. They'll be able to create some recipes, learn to cook a little bit. So this is, again, just exposing the boys to various opportunities for them as they continue to grow and, to high school and then beyond.
While I have everybody here, because we've never done this, all of us up here, we want to thank Dr. Chakey, because Dr. Chakey is the one who allows us to get the buses to go. So we appreciate you making that work for us, because we wouldn't be able to do these things if you didn't do what you did. So we appreciate that, Dr. Chakey.
Stand Together is a club. It's for 7th and 8th graders. Myself and our social worker, Karen Brett, run the group. So Stand Together is a partnership with the Office of Behavioral Health. Again, they have different groups in schools. They provide funding and training, and so they come in for 2 separate days, and they train students about mental health, about stigma, what stigma is, how we can fight against stigma, and also how to recognize some warning signs in their peers, and ultimately how to encourage their peers who may be struggling to find a trusted adult. And so they provide the training, and then they also give funding of $1,000 for 3 separate projects for the students to do throughout the year. It's student-led, student planned and implemented. So we did our first project in December called Blizzard Earth Support, where in the cafeteria during 7th and 8th grade lunch, students were asked to sign part of the pledge against stigma. They wrote their name on snowflakes, and then they kind of cover the cafeteria walls. 1 in 4 of the snowflakes was blue to represent that 1 in 4 young people either have a mental health or substance use disorder. we're working on some skits now that are going to be on the morning announcements. The kids are putting those together. And then in May, we already have a tentative date they want to do for 5th and 6th grade, kind of a pep assembly focused on games that all have to do with some like themes around like mental health and breaking stigma and some social inclusion. So it's been a great experience. We have a great group of about 20 students that are pretty active, and so far they have seemed to enjoy it.
Oh, so 2 years ago, Mrs. Howard and I, through our 5th grade speaker series, one of the speakers that we had come in, his name was Eric Lewis from the Pittsburgh Caring Place, and he talked to our 5th graders, and that sparked a small group that came, where Eric came back later, and he co-facilitated with Betty and I. We ran small groups for grief and loss, and it turned out to be so good that Mr. Lewis called us at the end of the year and said, hey, we do a summit in September. We would love you to have your kids come down and talk. And we didn't realize how big this was going to be. This is downtown Pittsburgh. This is in the main facility here. There's our kids. That was one of our small groups. They were sitting at this table speaking to basically school counselors and school psychologists. And I can't tell you how many people just like were like, I can't believe these are 6th graders and these are kids talking to all of us about grief and loss and their experience. It was a really phenomenal.
Yeah, they represented Gateway well, definitely. Another special programming that takes place in the middle school is a podcast. We started that last year with a couple of students. They wanted to know how they can help their, peers with some tough questions and issues. And so it started out with that idea of, Dear Abby kind of set up, and different students who had issues, they brought it to our attention, and then we would try to speak on it during the podcast. This podcast, actually, we interviewed Mr. Odo, who is our Dean of Students, and we talked about discipline and how can we get the students on board with, following the rules in school and that kind of thing. So it's been going well. Mr. Yolowitz has been great in helping us with this programming. Recently, we were able to get, I don't know the name of the equipment, but he was excited. We got 4 microphones, I think 2 sets, like one for the middle school and then one for the high school, and booms and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I don't know the technical names or terms of the equipment, but the kids are really excited and we're having a lot of fun with it. They're learning how to express themselves and have opinions and, share that verbally with others on the podcast. When we started, they didn't know how to share what they thought, but now they're becoming more comfortable, and it's just a fun little, project that we're working on. Hopefully other groups can, utilize the podcast equipment and, break out even to sports or whatever else they kind of want to work on.
All the podcasts are posted online under the Gateway Middle School School Counseling website. So if you're interested in just viewing one of them or more than one of them, it is under Gateway Middle School School Counseling website.
Next week, this is Saltworks Theater. I was there a couple of months ago in December for their fundraiser, and one of the board members, after speaking with them, I explained to her what I was doing. I'm a school counselor, I work with students, and she donated a show to us, and it's a $500 performance, but she donated it to us, and it is related to mental health, and that's actually one of our goals for the year. And so all the 6th graders next Wednesday will have this performance presented to them, and it's called When Panic Attacks. So we're always trying to focus in on, various ways of supporting all of our students.
And then Camp Lucy is just an afternoon long camp. It's free. It's through the organization Listen Lucy, which is again a mental health organization focusing on giving information about the impact of stigma with people living with mental health. And so they do a free camp in May for schools to bring middle school students to, again, kind of help them navigate some of the challenges of mental health. It's at Camp Gayasuda. We took a group last year. I think we were limited last year. I think we had maybe like 12 or 13 total. This year we can bring up to 20. And again, just a day-long experience, but for our students to get to network with other students and make connections and learn some coping skills. It's just a great collaboration.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just go real quick because we've already surpassed our 10, 15 minutes. Just some ongoing initiatives that we have. We do sponsor a group called Be the Kind Kids. Mrs. Howard and I started that group last year. It's just a group of kids that do kind acts throughout the day, throughout the school year. They make cards for teachers, they make cards for students. Kids can go online and fill out a request form for a card to send to someone. We did our first ever coat drive back sometime in November or December. We tried to raise some money. In order to stock what's called the Jam Pack Closet, that's an extension of the Be the Kind Kids. We have a closet at Gateway Middle School. Again, that just came about last year, but we stock it with personal items for students. We stock it with snacks, school supplies, anything that the kids, any of our students need throughout the day. They can come down and they can go to the Jam Pack Closet. So the goal is to make sure that our students never have to go without any needs while they're at school. I think it's been pretty successful.
And the nice thing about that is that other students are referring each other.
Yeah.
So there's no shame in having to come to the office to, get a product that they may need.
Yeah. And then our student ambassador program, we have a group of kids that we have trained every year. We train every single year to help new students whenever they enter the building. It's ongoing throughout the year because, as you know, we get many students throughout the course of the year. So those kids are a great help to us. It's even extended into doing some tutoring with some of the younger students. And then last but not least, as everybody is well aware, Kyla, our therapy dog, is there offering support for all of our students. I think that's, yeah.
Yeah, that's just.
Yeah, this is just career education. We do have a comprehensive K-12 program, specifically at the 5 through 8 level. We each do various career activities. We partner with Forbes Tech. We partner with, we do different online programs. Zello we use at the 7th and 8th grade level, and you guys use
Career PA Career Zone at the 5-6, and it is a free app that we are able to utilize. And this year we were able to, out of one of the trips that we took downtown, the Builders Guild, get a partnership developed with JA, Junior Achievement. They were able to bring in VR, virtual reality headsets for the 6th graders to explore various careers, and that was just a very positive experience for everyone. So that was nice. That was a nice, experience for them.
One thing I want to add too, just to throw it out there, if you guys know anybody for our speaker series, like we bring in 5th grade when we do the speaker series, we bring people in from the community that come from a variety of different career paths, career choices. Wednesday we have the new mayor of Monroeville coming. We had Mr. Moyo come in for the bakery. We had a private investigator. Like, we bring in a bunch of different people, but if you guys have somebody that you know you think that would be a really good person to come in and talk to our 5th graders, because that counts towards one of the career artifacts that they need to be Chapter 339. I'm always taking people. That might lead to.
Yeah, on that note, we have the 8th grade career fair coming up, May 15th. Still looking for presenters in the community. We have about 25 so far, so I'm hoping to get maybe 5 more. If you know anybody, please send me their contact information. We have already advertised on social media. We've advertised in the paper. We're going to continue to push that a little bit more. We have some sponsorships that I'm working on, but it's a great, and everybody here will be invited to attend. Please come out on May 14th.
Will there be food?
Yeah, there will be food. I do hear someone's gonna bake some cookies and bring them, so.
Could you stand up and show us that T-shirt? It looks like it says Gateway School District.
She's next to
That's
Tom.
the next
one.
That's the next,
I'm
yeah.
having trouble seeing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we appreciate your time. I know we went over a little bit, but we have a lot of cool things that are going on at Gateway Middle School. We just wanted to spend a few minutes, showcase our programs, say thank you to all of us for your support.
So May 14th is the,
It is our 8th grade career fair.
So you guys,
So it'll start at about 9:15. The presenters will be there at 9 o'clock. They will set up, we'll bring our students, 2 groups. Kids will be able to float for about 45 minutes talking to the presenters. We will prep them during their English classes prior to that so they know who's coming in.
what day is that on?
A Thursday.
Thursday.
So it'll run, I mean, there's 2 different sessions, one in the morning and then one 15-minute break and then one after that. But I will send you all information.
And we do have one of our business owners here
Awesome.
on the board.
I did go to that last year, by the way, and I appreciated that. I talked to Mr. Jack while I was there going around. You had gone to the bricklayers. Remember? Only because I was listening this week to the CEO of BlackRock, and Mike Rowe is my favorite person. Dirty Jobs tech
Yeah.
thing. They are strongly suggesting by 8th grade, we introduce higher tech jobs like, not that bricklaying is actually higher tech, like you're building a robot, but they are strongly suggesting that we start at 5th, and by 8th grade, they have been.
Well, it's really interesting. We want to take more kids next year.
To the Builders Guild. It's a career fair offered by the Builders Guild. It was phenomenal. We took our group there, the girls went. It's offered for middle school and high school students, but through that, I did get some contact information. One was the gentleman that did all the brickwork for the Gateway Middle School. I did send an invite to him.
Is that the one that's over by the Parkway? Did you see by the Parkway? Because this one's in Wilkins Township, so this is.
Well, that's the one. He's over next to like the sheets over the.
Yeah, Eastmont.
Yeah.
so you guys don't really do anything all day, just play with the therapy dog and, yeah. Well,
appreciate it.
thank you guys very much for coming and after school and
One of the
explaining all that.
email me so I can, I would love to be one of the speakers.
Yay.
I would love, yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
speakers, I thought you meant for the career fair.
Whatever I can do.
You do both. You do both.
Absolutely.
You do both.
If you want.
Oh, that would work right into your mentorship program.
To throw me in there like a
Just
Uh-huh, yeah, I did. They did.
5th grade, you're talking about the 5th grade speaker? Do you want to speak at 5th grade, or you want to be there for the career?
Whatever you want to
Because
put me in.
career is
You
8th
could do
grade.
both.
Do both.
Yeah,
They can figure that out.
Thank you.
Figure that out.
Thank you.
We're
on you guys.
You don't have the kids
No pressure.
moving around in 5th grade. You just
Yeah,
have
they
to
come in
sit
the
there.
auditorium, sit down, and we speak, we generate a series of questions. Dr. Shaky, Dr. Rossi, they were our guests at one point, they know. And then we do a this or that at the end, so it's fun. Yeah, it takes about, it's one period, 42 minutes in and out, but it's good for the kids to hear. And what's been so powerful so far is all the kids have said, these people go to college, or some don't go to college, but a lot of them don't follow the path that they went to initially. They change, and it's been good for the kids to see that, or seeing kids that have been, or people that have been really successful with not going to college, that they can do trades, they can go do, because we push that. You don't have to go to college. That's all our message, right? We don't push college. If you want to go to college, that's great, but there's other things that you can do too that will make you successful.
You don't think 5th graders have the ability to focus and go around like 8th graders to look at, because there was cool stuff to see. Sometimes when you tell them, it's not the same as when you show them. So in 8th grade, you were showing them some stuff.
I think it's
based on-
just the gradual
Right, we might have
transition. Introduce them to the information, and eventually in 7th and 8th, they can kind of do that hands-on exploration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much. I know you've been here all day, so, and I think we have some students from the high school that want to. If you guys can go up to the podium and speak into the microphone, just because the people online hear the microphone and not us, like in the.
My name's Julia.
My name's Albani's.
My name's Olivia.
My name's Kaiden.
And we are Gateway High School Black Student Union leaders. And today we're here just to share some ideas and different kinds of activities we have going on throughout the rest of the month and the rest of the school year. We have a lot of different activities that we hope can bring change to the school and to the district, and that can help eradicate hate and just bring more love and unity to things going on in students' day-to-day lives, and we would love to share them with you.
Black Student Union fosters agency, belonging, and connections. This is how we gain confidence to make the change and be the change. Change doesn't happen overnight. And as part of that change, we're having our second student-led summit on March 27th. Julia will tell us more about that.
The theme of the summit is Pathways to Purpose, where passion meets preparation. Our students will have a chance to go on into breakout sessions where they can explore different professions like law enforcement, mental health, and athlete. But before the breakout sessions, we will have a keynote speaker, Devontae Butler, who is a former student at Gateway and is now an emotional speaker. And he will talk to us about what steps we need to reach to get our goals and what things we can do to reach our goals when we're older and how we can learn to be successful. How this will eradicate hate. It will bring students together, people that usually they don't think they would engage with each other. We gave our BSU members a little challenge to do. We told them, invite someone that you usually wouldn't talk to the summit. Like someone that you probably normally wouldn't speak to. We told them, invite them to the summit. It brings people together that people say, oh wow, you really want me there, you care that you would invite me. So we had our BSU members do that and invite people that they wouldn't usually talk to. It's going to be a good time for students to engage with each other, have some just breakout sessions where they can talk to each other, talk to mentors. We're going to have a law enforcement panel where kids are going to be able to ask questions to officers, lawyers, different law enforcement. Athlete panel where people can ask questions to different athletes. Also, same with mental health, where kids can get help if they need the help. You know, it's okay not to be okay. So, to eradicate hate, we are advocating for spaces of belonging and connectedness for the students so that they all feel welcome in the school. We don't want anyone to feel out of place while at school. And so, for example, on Thursday the 12th, we had a little registration drive for our summit to hopefully get some more names on our sign-up list. And as we were going around table to table, we had some students say, oh, I can't go because I'm not black, because it's the Black Student Union invited me. And we don't want people to think, oh, only black people can sign up for this, only one specific group can sign up for this. We want it to be for everyone. We don't want this to be an event full of division. We want it to be full of inclusion and connectedness, and we want it to be very diverse. And so we understand that we can't change how hateful the world is overnight, but it's important that we at least try and do something now, because we understand that we are the change. Youth is the change. And the more students we send out this message to, the faster that change can happen. And we are just looking for equal opportunities for everyone, because again, we don't want people thinking that this is an event that's just for one group of people because it's Black Student Union. We don't want them thinking it's just for black people. We want everyone to show up. So our message is that we are all unique and we all come together and make this beautiful creation with all of our different components. Like Owani, she's Hispanic, she has curly hair. Kaiden, she's black and she wears glasses. My sister, she's also black and she's representing her natural hair today, and I have braids. We all have unique aspects to ourselves that make us unique, because we're all one big salad that come together and we make something beautiful.
To continue that, we do not want to be a melting pot. You might be asking, what is a melting pot? A melting pot is a group of people that all act the same, have no uniqueness, nothing to them. But we want to be a salad bowl. All together, be different in our own ways.
What does your shirt say, so we can go back to John?
We spoke at the International Day of Peace a little while ago, so we got shirts. And we did a poem there.
Oh, okay.
And we will be performing that poem at our summit on the 27th.
Do you remember your poem now? You guys did a phenomenal job there, and I had talked Dr. Threet, but we never moved on. So,
Do you guys have any questions or comments?
Ladies, I asked Dr. Threet this because I was there last year in the auditorium, but I didn't do the breakout session. So as a school board member, I'm assuming I could tag along with you guys and go and listen to the breakout session. Okay, I have another question. Last year, I had recommended and thought about the 8th graders. Are you going to include them this year as a transition?
Yes, they are inviting them.
Okay, and you have talked to them and let that be known to them. Are you going over and inviting them?
Yeah,
They're aware.
Yeah, and the students aren't doing that part. The educators and adults are. Yeah.
Because you were talking about going around tables and telling people. I just wondered how you were going to reach out to the.
Yeah.
Could you step out for a picture in front of the, right here, so Leslie gets a nice picture of you guys?
Wrong Leslie, not
So you're
Leslie.
getting a bus.
I guess.
You're getting a bus to transport these.
How about in front of the
G.
Big seal, how about Big Seal?
Yeah, we'll move out of your way, ladies, or you can block us.
Now that TV's gonna be in the way now.
Block us.
It's okay to not be okay. I made a note of that because he didn't hear it. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I am going to ask you if you remember a little part of it. It was. Well.
You can tell her now, it's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys might have the BSU as a whole.
No.
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 I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Any concerns we have would be as.
No, but we're going to show up.
And any concerns you have or anything you want to ask, even.
Oh, actually,
Because you pretty much
yes.
said it.
Sorry. Last year we were able to invite other schools to our summit, but this year, unfortunately, we aren't given that opportunity to invite other schools to our summit. So we're hoping next year when we do have another summit that we can reach out to other schools and have them come to our summit, because we've had the opportunity and the chance to come to theirs. We've spoken, actually last Monday at Eradicate Hate, we spoke in front of 400 people, and we were able to tell them about our summit. And a lot of people came up to us asking, hey, how can I get there? How can I go? How can I be a part of this? And unfortunately, we had to tell them it's only for students at Gateway.
And that's Dr. Rossi, our superintendent, so you direct that.
Where was the summit at and what day of the week was it?
It was last Monday, it was at Acrisure Stadium.
So it wasn't in the public school setting, it was at the stadium. And that's where last year you met up with Taylor Alderdice and Woodland Hills, and that's how they came.
Yeah, there are schools that do that. There's logistic issues, and I'll talk to Dr. Threet, Mr. Stevens, about planning for that if we would go that route. But thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. Just really focus on 8th grade now, because next year they're going to be amongst you, and it's hard being a transition to the high school. Not easy, right? Remember those days?
Thank you.
Right. Thanks for coming.
See you next Friday.
Oh, one other thing. Dr. Threet said to me something about special ed. Do you do something special for those kids when you do this? Or are they just integrated into all your stuff?
All students are welcome, so those students are extra welcome to come. We would love for them to come. If we're going to be able to accommodate to them, anything they need, we will provide.
So you're going to reach out to them too?
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Do we have any, thank you again very much for sharing.
Thank you.
Do we have any board member discussion items that are not?
Comments, residents on agenda items first.
You skipped.
Oh, yeah, I did skip that.
It's your job now.
We'll break,
I'm she's,
Track her when she's
we'll
on.
break that out next time.
she's reading. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Any comments from residents on agenda items?
No.
Okay.
What about the board?
Wait, I had to go back and do that one.
She skipped the
I
step.
skipped a step. Do we have any board member discussion items that are not part of your, like, committee reports?
Okay. I just want to emphasize, for those who may not know, and I doubt that no one knows, that this is Women's History Month. March has been designated as such, and I am always excited about that. And I was looking at information, particularly of pioneering educators, and I think it's always good to know. I mean, Maria Montessori, because we don't know, a lot of times she was a physician, and an educator, and she revolutionized early education with the Montessori method. And then Mary McLeod Bethune, who was the first pioneering African American who founded a girls' school in Florida, and later became Bethune-Cookman University. Patsy Mink, Matala Yousafzai, Ella Flagg Young. And I remember Ann Sullivan very well. A lot of this year, I don't know if they still study or know anything about Helen Keller, but I know when I was growing up, and Ann Sullivan was her teacher, and such impactful impression that I think it left on me to want to be a special educator. And then we have Elizabeth Peabody, who was an educator who opened the first American kindergarten taught in English in Boston in 1860. Patsy Smith Hill, a progressive educator and a kindergarten pioneer who championed early childhood training and founded the Child Development Institute. And I could go on and on, but I like, because this is a board meeting, we're a school district, I always like to emphasize the educators who are historic. I didn't give their dates, but these, many of them are still living, but most of them have already passed. And one other thing I would like to just say, I guess I was so upset and touched by what happened to over 160, 170 young girls who will never have the opportunity, young girls and women who will never have the opportunity to be in history, because in the school in Iran where they have been killed through our bomb strike. And I'm not going to go into all of that, but I'd just like us to keep all of those families in our prayers. They could have been our child, it could have been I'd just like us to keep all of them in prayer, because we're better than that. And this is humanity that we're talking about that was affected by that particular incident. That's it for me.
Following Susan's lead, I followed your lead on Women's Month, and when we were reading at University Park, I didn't see you there that time. I was at fourth grade.
You missed my outfit.
I missed, well, I did. But anyway, fourth grade, and don't ask me, it escaped my mind. The first woman veterinarian who formed the first clinic for pets. It was in Chicago,
yes,
your home city.
Yes.
And it was interesting to see the reactions of the kids, because up to that point, men were taking care of horses and cows, and there was nobody taking care of cats and dogs. So when she was the only woman in her graduating class, and she formed with her husband the first actual dog and cat clinic, which we all know have veterinarian hospitals. How many are in Monroeville? All over the place. She also did the first appendectomy on a dog. Who knew? So the kids, I gave the kids each class a book so they can learn. But I said I learned something. Who knew about that kind of stuff? So that was really good. But you said you were going to do it, and I thought, okay, we're going to do that. Who is the first woman vet? Anyway, that was a good idea. Thank you for that.
Any other members have discussion items?
I just have a question. January 14th, they signed a bill to bring whole milk back into the cafeterias. And I just wondered if Gateway is going to follow that. They're saying it's more nutritious for the kids because everything right now is skim and the 1%. and I was just curious as to where we stand on that.
We brought that to the attention of the food service, and they're reviewing that right now, but for the rest of this year, I don't think there's any intention on bringing it back for this school year.
Dr. Rossi, since we're going to approve the minutes from the Curriculum and Equity Committee, I asked you about another meeting before school's out. Did you ponder dates?
We're just trying to facilitate. I think we have one. We'll talk with Dr. Jakey.
Only
Yes.
because since I gave you the dates,
Yes.
I have some other stuff coming up.
Okay, we'll get that. We were trying to coordinate with.
I know what you're
Let me
trying
get
to
to
do.
number 4.
I will.
I'm trying to get through it, Donna's talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do you have anything?
No.
Done. No? Okay. All right. Minutes from the previous meeting. Do we have any questions or comments on the minutes from the Curriculum and Equity Committee meeting? The February 2026 study session or the February 2026 regular meeting? Other than when's the next one? No questions? Mr. Zarellas?
Thank you, Mrs. McBride. Financial reports, 5.1, list of bills March of 2026.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Zarellas? Mr. Bringe, personnel.
Yes, thank you. Item 6.1, recognize one resignation. Item 6.2, acknowledge one individual who qualifies for leave under the Family and Medical Leave Act. Item 6.3, we're going to recommend one person for employment, Kayla Edwards, for food service substitute. Item 6.4, we have attached here the fall athletics and drama supplementals. Of course, those will pend passage of the 26-27 school district budget. And item 6.5, there are 9 volunteers that we'd like to accept.
Anybody have any questions regarding that?
We haven't even seen the first look at the budget. I mean, I know the supplemental list has specific names attached. But are those values and everything the standard part of the budget, everything else? I feel like we might have the cart before the horse a little bit on the budget situation. Since we haven't even seen it, I'm assuming, but I know it says pending the budget, but whether we should be really approving supplementals until we actually have at least some direction on the budget.
Sure. So, these positions are the current positions for this year. They represent a 1% increase, which is per the contract. However, I guess why we put pending the budget, if things need to be tightened and we need to scale back on some positions, perhaps we would look at some supplementals. So right now, nothing has been added. These are just the current positions.
Okay.
I think our rationale for recommending individuals now is just for that continuity. A lot of our programs, whether it be athletics, whether it be musical sports, they do a lot of things in preparation over the summer. It just doesn't happen in that season.
Yeah, I'm not saying we won't do it before the summer. I'm just saying we haven't even got the first look at the budget. We have a budget schedule.
Yeah.
We're sort of.
Well, I think in the past, we've been asked to approve these sooner rather than later.
So
We could review that.
So that they can start getting the.
I understand
the
the application on our
applications.
budget situation.
Mr. Zarellas, what is the percentage of our supplementals with our
overall budget?
Oh,
We can get that. We can
It's
get
small,
that.
it's minimal.
it's very minimal, to be honest with you.
It would be nice to see.
I can get you the exact percentage, but honestly, it's probably like around 1% off the top of my head. It's not a whole lot.
Well, we're having a meeting on Thursday, right? So,
Here,
well, we have.
it's about 500, thank you, John. It's 570,000 total.
Out of like a $97 million budget,
Are
basically.
we going to have clarity on Thursday? Because Thursday's the
Yeah.
day. It's the first time we've seen you
Yes.
do your presentation.
I just one question. When it comes to all these positions, obviously they have to have all the clearances and everything. Is there any way for us to because I've been led to believe that there's been a few slip-ups with that. Some have gone through the cracks and have been active with some of the students in practices and things that didn't actually have the clearances in yet. Who's actually, when it comes to the athletics department, does that fall under Mr. Hall? Does that fall under our HR?
who's the ultimate responsible for making sure that all of our coaches have their clearance?
I actually did talk to both because I heard the same thing, both HR and Coach Hall. There are many clearances, and there's very specific ones that you have to have before you can be with the kids. And they make sure they have those, while the longer clearances that come in are still pending. Is that correct?
Right. So in order to work with the students, you need to have, your PA State Police, you need to have your PA Child Abuse, you need to have your FBI. There are, if you're volunteering, there's state police and there's the child abuse. You do not necessarily need your FBI. So prior to this year, all of those were maintained via paper copy. We have now used a platform with Comply, and we're in the process. We have all the employees' clearances in there, and they will actually get notifications when their clearances come due to be renewed. We are going to use a similar platform in Comply for volunteers as well. So call it what you may, but there are clearances for volunteers and there are clearances for employees. They are exactly the same clearance. However, employee clearances require you to pay the state for them. So even though we have someone who might be current with volunteer clearances, in order for us to compensate them at the district level, you must have the paid clearances. So you might have just renewed them. As a volunteer, you'll need to pay for them for employment purposes. The only other thing that so those are the things that you need to have in order to be able to work with the students. And there's not much distinction between the actual clearance between volunteer and employee, other than that you paid for yours as an employee.
My question was, who's ultimately responsible for?
It comes to us, but it's also, in athletics, we do ask Mr. Hall and Ms. Fischetti to also keep an eye on those, and we send notices. Rachel, who's the HR specialist, will send notices of those that are come due, to also remind them, even though they get the email through Comply. If they disregard that, or it looks something foreign, that they also reach out to them prior to working with students.
If there's a specific, just let Kevin know. I'm aware of one that I thought we addressed, but if there's anything else specific, we need specifics.
I heard one thing that just led me to just think
we've had some
because we kind of have to look at this blindly and assume.
We've had some individuals sign up for volunteers, and then maybe there was a vacancy, and Mr. Hall wants to bring that individual on. Well, they're allowed to volunteer, but until they get that clearance, that paid clearance, we're not. We can't compensate them till it's the employee clearance, if you will.
So if you're a volunteer, say you have somebody with the PTOs or whatnot, and they turn all of those in, and they move into a position that's a stipend position. So it would be going from a volunteer position to a stipend where the district is paying somebody X amount of money. Then even if I just turned my clearances in for my volunteer, we have to go back again and redo.
Yes, and pay the amount to the state for the.
Otherwise, we would just hire everybody as a volunteer for an hour and then pay them.
And then everybody, I guess, that's on the list, how are we as a board when we approve? Like, do we have all of those clearances in already? How do we know that that has been done? Because sometimes things pop up.
Yeah, we will not put them on until we have their clearances.
Okay.
In fact, there was a coach that's being recommended, and we're still missing one clearance, and we pulled him off at the last minute. So that's our assurance for us and for you that they have in what they can to be working with students.
So you have made changes over the last 12 to 18 months on how clearances come in the policy.
There's over 1,000 people when you factor in the clearances, the volunteers and the supplementals and our employees, that we need to make sure that they are able to work with our students and are cleared by the state and various government agencies.
Any other questions on section 6? Dr. Chafee, Administrative Resolutions and Education.
Thank you, Mr. McBride. Item 7.1, we have policies for approval as listed. to make up batch 2. Item 7.2, approve the conferences as listed. 7.3, approve the new resources for use beginning with the 26-27 school year. 7.4, approve Super Kids resource for display for kindergarten ELA. 7.5, accept the 25-26 school safety and mental health grant as listed. 7.6, approve the billed services from Invention Land Education for the proposed services for Gateway Middle School Science Lab, funded through the PA Smart Grant. And item 7.7, approve the support resolution for House Bill 41 for interscholastic athletics.
Anybody have any questions for Dr. Chaiky for section 7?
All the conferences in 7.2, was that all in part of the budget already from this past year?
Yes, and, yep, and then Micah also gets some discounts for when they present.
And then what's the grant in 7.5? It says accepting the grant, but there's no dollar value listed that I could see.
That grant is for $167,000 and a little bit of change. That's the PCCD grant.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions for section 7?
7.4, can I request a copy? Is there something I can see? The CLA kindergarten. I did read, as I indicated to Dr. Chaiky, the program for the high school, which had to be AP, because they were reading Beowulf in Old English. And so that was pretty intense. It was an interesting curriculum. But is that available for us to for me to pick up, or is there a lot of it?
Would have to stay here.
I would have to stay here. I will take it with me like I did the.
We only have one set, and if other people want to see it.
Actually, we're currently using the Super Kids. This is just the new.
Yeah, I know, I understand. That's where they sing all the songs and do all the cute little things.
But it's here, yeah.
It's here. Well, I'll make arrangements with you at some point just to come and look at it.
I just wanted to see if Mr. Hall could maybe talk a little bit about 7.7.
Coach Hall.
Yes.
Hi, Mr. McIntyre asked if you can talk a little bit about 7.7, the resolution for the House Bill 41.
Yes, House Bill 41 was sent forward by the State Representative Scanlon. They followed up that House bill with a survey of interest among all Pennsylvania schools, including all of those in our district. And the survey that they sent out regarding this particular bill about separating playoffs for boundary and non-boundary schools was received back with about 96% approval to want to make that separation. They followed up that survey with a request from each district to consider supporting that bill in the form of a petition signed by the superintendent, the principal, who's ultimately responsible for high school athletics, and the athletic director. Before we went forward with signing that, we have our own personal opinions on it, and I can share that if you'd like. But we thought it was good to get it in front of the board and basically crafted a resolution for you to see some of the statistics and the rationale for that resolution and that House bill. The goal is to get the House to pass this bill, this law, which would ultimately allow then, not force, but allow the PIAA to decide based on its membership's wants and needs whether to separate or not. At this point, they feel that they're legally bound to a 1972 law that was proposed and fulfilled by Tom Ridge well before he was the governor or the Homeland Security guy. And they feel like they would need another law to supersede that 1972 law to allow them the wherewithal to make that decision with the PIAA.
You said you and Mr. Stevens had opinions on this. Is that something you want to share?
Sure. I do believe that the landscape has changed greatly in the way boundary and non-boundary schools occur. I have a unique perspective of attending and playing for a boundary school back in the early 80s and coaching at one in the mid 2000s. And what's happened is Catholic schools have primarily, and we haven't had charter schools for a long time, but private schools have, especially in the Catholic school mode, have gradually shrunk. Different, all kind of parishes have consolidated or closed. We're not growing Catholic schools, so we're having less and less Catholic school students to populate Catholic high schools. So there's a couple foundations. So now we have a lot of kids at Catholic schools that aren't Catholic, that aren't great students. That's a misnomer. They've done away with things like entrance exams and checking their discipline records in grade school, things like that. And then many of them don't pay. So you've got a bunch of people that go to a Catholic school or a charter school for no cost, or the cost of their school district in the case of a charter school, and they're able to go there to play a sport. An analogy I often use is fantasy football, and I hate to drag it out, but if we were going to have a fantasy football league and I said, okay, Mr. McIntyre, you can be in for your $50. You get anybody that was born in Pennsylvania, anybody who was born in Pennsylvania that is currently in the NFL. Well, there are some years you could have a heck of a team, but I'm in the league too, and I get not only the kids in Pennsylvania, players from Pennsylvania, but I get every other state. And oh, by the way, if there's any on your roster that I want, I can take them too. It's not an equitable deal, and I don't think you'd sign up and put in your $50. So that's the way we look at it. That there's the way teams win, and all credit to coaches. Clearly, I'm one. It's a fair player acquisition model, and we have two very distinctly different player acquisition models in 2026 between boundary and non-boundary schools. That's my personal opinion.
Well said.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions for Coach Hall or any other on section
I
7?
think this is just for playoffs, right? So that, like, a regular season is not impacted, it's just asking that playoffs are separated. Am I following that?
Correct. The bill is proposed to do exactly that. Teams can still play each other in the regular season, but just like they break out in the postseason by classification, they'd have a different classification.
At some point, since we're talking budgets and stuff, Mr. Hall, do you have a list of like grants or something you've applied for or you've gotten? Because I was just reading Under Armour and flag football. I know Vicks did something with that, and
can we? I don't want to interrupt.
I just want to ask him.
Yeah, but can we move on from this, and then when it comes around, if our president, puts that out there for us to ask questions, just with discussion on this. I just want to piggyback off to Mr. Hall. We had a meeting, the athletic committee meeting last Wednesday. Mr. Mock and myself, and discussed this in extent, and everything he says, we are both on board with it, and hope that it does go forward, and we do recommend that Gateway Board sign off on this.
Yeah, I've been kind of calling for this for a long time. I can remember going to the state championship game. What year was that? 16 when they had Brady.
Yeah. 17.
17. It was one heck of a football team game they had. And they go to who's that we played in the finals, Coach? Somebody practiced.
I wish you wouldn't make me say it out loud because it makes me have some bad memories. But
Archbishop would. Roster, they had kids from Florida.
Yeah.
And I mean, it looked like a small college football team, and it was egregious.
Well, thank you. Section 8, Mr. Ellis, you're up.
Thank you, Mrs. McBride. Administrative Resolutions 8.1, approve the 26-27 AIU program of services budget in the amount of $2,431,488 with the Gateway School District contribution to the program of services budget in the estimated amount of $64,614. Item 8.2, the following school board directors have been nominated to serve as the school board trustees for a 2-year period effective April 1st, 2026 for the Eastern Region as listed below. Please select one. Item 8.3, approve the facilities request as listed for the Monroeville Chamber of Commerce, November 19th of 2026. Item 8.4, approve the purchase of software for digital scoreboard for the sports complex gym in the amount of $7,500. Item 8.5, accept the anonymous donation to the autistic support and life skills students at Gateway High School in the amount of $150.
Anybody have any questions on section 8?
So 8.4, it says, we are now going to vote on approving the.
I do have some comments regarding that contract. A couple things that when I reviewed the contract, it doesn't delineate the software costs. I know it's $7,500 here. It actually doesn't include what the software warranties are and things like that. It's purely for the scoreboard that I'm looking at right now. It is a 10-year contract with a renewal of an option of 5 years. I do want to point out that it does indicate that they don't want any ads in the vicinity. So if you had other banners that were in your gymnasium that have this scoreboard, they may say, according to this contract, you can't have those banners up that are advertising something else. The way it's written. The revenue sharing, you only get the 25% if the ad is done for 6 months or greater. So if you had a 3-month ad, this contract does not give you that 25% reimbursement.
There's not a provision in there of anything over 125. That's the provision they have, over 125,000.
No, what it's talking about is if you have, yes, this is the provision indicating what the revenue share is talking about. They take the net revenue and then you guys get a credit for that, but it's a 25%, but it has to be 6 months or greater. The ad has to be up. So if they sell an ad or we find an ad that somebody wants to advertise but only for 3 months, you're not going to get that credit according to the way this contract's written right now.
Because when they presented, it was my understanding that anything over 125,000 in a year, we then got percentage.
It doesn't state that
in that.
Correct. It
And
does
in
not.
the last meeting, I was very confused by that because the gist I got from the meeting when they presented was we get a percentage of ads that are generated from Gateway.
Yeah, like if you
They can sell 10 million in ads. We don't get a dime of that.
Right,
But the ads have to come from Gateway.
But I thought, correct, but I thought it was over 125,000, but that provision isn't even in here, what she's correct.
When you explained that to me, I thought you were saying it was if all told, if they sell 125,000 in ads, we get a kick.
No, if we don't meet that, they'll take their national people, whether that's Target, like national brands, and then we don't get that, but.
And I've got a lot of questions on this, but the one that's bothered me the most, I don't know if it's in there or not, but like, are these ads running during the school day?
So it indicates during like competition time. So if we end up having the gymnasium used for other competitions and things like that, that's when they want these ads running.
They wouldn't be up during a
Not
gym.
for gym
Not
class.
for
no.
gym,
Okay. No.
but the other things I just want to point out that I think are necessary, they do have a provision that we reserve the right to reject an ad. However, it says agrees with our policies, so if we are going to adopt this, we might want to adopt certain types of policies. They indicate they wouldn't introduce anything that's illegal or in age inappropriate, vaping, tobacco, alcohol, firearms, no matter what. But we might want to create a policy if we are going to be doing this to say this is what types of ads we want. And you might not want political ads, you might not want religious ads, things like that. So that's up to you guys. Also, they indicate that there's a first right of refusal. So if we end up going for 10 years and they want to we want to go within another, maybe this becomes a normal thing out in the pub, I don't know, and you want to go and use another company at the end of the 10 years, there is a first right of refusal for them first. And then.
Which means what?
Meaning we have to offer it to them first. Now, we don't have to accept the number, but we have to ask them, would you take it at this price? If they refuse, then you can go on to another company and indicate.
Doesn't that directly contradict our policy of getting bids or?
That would, the Procurement Act, well, this would fall outside the scope of the Procurement Act because it is technology that you don't have to, you just like professional services, you can go out and you can get bids from all different professional service individuals. You do not have to necessarily take the lowest responsible bidder, but you're not obligated to do it under the Procurement Act. Whereas if you were going to buy microphones at a certain level, if it's over a certain amount, then you have to go out and get all those bids or go through an agency like CoStarz that is also already government approved. So in this instance, you wouldn't have to do it, but you are tying the arms or the hands of future boards. This is a 10-year contract. You guys are on the board for 4 years. I'm not saying that you might not be here 4 years from now and another 4 years from now. I have people that are, but it is a long contract. The other issue that I have with the contract is it does not include what I call choice of law or venue provision. They're a Florida corporation. They are not from Pennsylvania. So I would absolutely, without a doubt, require that if we litigate this or we have any issues, breach of contracts, that it would be litigated in the state of Pennsylvania and the venue would be Allegheny County or federal court, Western District, just because we don't want to spend money going to wherever they are located. And again, they're indicating they're a Florida company, but I think he
said Chicago.
Chicago, yeah, Midwest. So those are my thoughts. I think you guys really need to go through this, make sure if you want, I'm more than happy to go back to them, but yeah, I got this tonight and there's some typos in it as well that I can go back and fix. They reference wrong sections. They're in there. They just reference it in the wrong paragraph. Things like that.
Are you going to send us anything that shows, because you went through a lot of stuff?
I can do that. I can get a memo to you guys indicating my issues of concern.
Because this is the first we're seeing this, and I would like to be able to see what you just said. I think that's very critical. My other concern is with this, because it's 10 years, out of the chute, people may go and jump on board as a business person and think this is a great idea and we're going to invest in this. But then later on down the road, by our third and fourth year, we're in trouble because people don't want to, and then they come in, right? And I don't know their lead to sale ratio. I don't know how that looks. I think that's really important. They get a lead. How well do they follow up? Are they going to integrate theirs? Because if they pick their own thing, if I read that right, then we don't get anything.
Correct.
Right? So we're out of the loop altogether.
Yeah.
So it's really important if we could figure out somehow, when we give them the lead, and we give them 10, what is the percentage of the times they're going to close?
So we're not even selling ads, we're just giving them the lead.
Yes, we're giving them names.
They can just throw them away and throw their own stuff in
Yes,
there anyway.
and you know what else too, Rick? They can also say anything, because we lose control over the sale in the community, and we're the ones, the name they're going to use. They're going to say, Gateway said we should contact you, but if they throw it out, they still can use our name, and we don't know what they're doing. It's not like you and I are selling.
There's not a lot, it's not delineated that way in the contract of what our control is over what we produce to them. So I think that also probably needs to be addressed. So even if we get a lead, then we want credit for the lead. If they choose not to use it, we still want our credit, something to that effect.
It's not even an issue of them not wanting to use it. I don't know what their turnover is with their salespeople. I don't know anything about their sales force.
Right.
So we can't assume that they're on top of everything either.
Is
which
that,
could impact
Jeanette,
us.
now, is it unusual for it to be a 10-year contract as opposed to a 5-year? Because, everything changes so
Yeah, 10 years,
fast.
that's
To be
4
locked
years.
in, to be locked into 10 years.
Yeah, Jeanette, you located other.
I did, like, because I was very, like, my stomach is telling me something's not right with this, and the way I'm looking at it, it sounds like one of those payday loan things where you're getting caught up in it, and then at the end, you got to make a choice. Am I gonna cut ties with this company, but I like the board and want to keep it? Is that technology even worth keeping? And then what is the buyout? Because I went back and rewatched when he spoke to us, and he's like, the buyout is not $1 because the IRS doesn't let it do it. So we've got $154,000 worth of equipment.
Right.
Or you tell me I now need to buy it for $50,000, where I could probably go get another analog board for the middle school. If that's, we have a board that works. So I feel like right now, as a new member sitting here, that I feel like we're being forced to make a decision, and I don't know that have we done our due diligence? Have we looked at other companies that do this? Is this the standard practice across business? And, I found 6 other companies online when I did a quick Google search, but I was also not inputting my personal data to have salespeople call me all day of the week. So, there are other I don't know what happened.
Just put Chelsea. No, did you sent me the list?
I did.
There's a lot. Yeah.
I think Mr. Hall has something to say. Bonnie?
Go ahead.
Can I comment?
Yeah.
There's been a lot thrown out there. The first thing that's important is I would use it as an analogy to a car. You may have a working car, but as the miles pile up, new technology comes out. You look at what's next in getting the next car, safety wise, comfort wise, all those kind of things. We started looking at digital scoreboards when they started popping up back in 2022. In September of 22, we quoted through OES, who's done our other scoreboards, a project that included a big marquee outside the sports complex to like you'd see on Madison Square Garden, scores table, and 2 digital scoreboards in the gym. That whole package was over $330,000. We scaled it back and just bought a scores table at that point. 30-foot LED. We were in dire need of a scores table at that point, and we replaced it with an LED one from OES. The next piece was as this thing came along, the thing that keeps getting dropped from the conversation is if they don't sell an ad, it's all on their company. Okay, we're not going to get that, our reimbursement back toward paying our software fee, and that's our only risk is $7,500 a year. They're supplying $154,000 worth of equipment to us and taking the risk that they can sell the ads to pay it back off. So
I understand that, but we don't represent the people that are paying that money. We represent the people that are going to be committed to at least a $75,000 payment.
7,500. Yes.
No,
Over 10 years, that's 75.
If we don't recoup a penny.
The wire, there's a lot of hidden costs I think that are going to be falling into this. And I appreciate it, and I understand that that's a good pitch.
So then,
but I don't care if they lose money. I care if the district loses money.
Because then I look at the $75,000 that you're paying for the licensing fee, and then at the end, again, it's do you do another contract? Do you extend it for 5 years, or do you buy the boards outright? And you put that money. Yeah, that's where I'm having. I feel like it's wasted.
No, that Jeanette, I agree with you completely, and I agree with Rick. This is very troubling.
I write that down.
I didn't like that. I thought we owned that board from day one based on what I thought he said. And then I get Coach Hall, the contract is contradicting some of the things that we believed, and our attorney would like to take a better look at it. And I think we also want to look at, we're not opposed to the overall program and going this direction. I think some members just want to see if there's they came across other marketing firms that do this as well. And
Yeah, I didn't get to that, but I spoke with the representatives of anybody who has a digital scoreboard in Pennsylvania. Watchfire, OES, Daktronics are the top three in addition to this company. And that's the difference, is that they'll all sell you a board. We could go back to OES and pay $200,000 and get a digital board, which no one's asking to do. We're asking to, take advantage of an opportunity to take the equipment donated, essentially, as their trade-off is to sell advertising. Even if we bought a board today from OES for $200,000 for two boards, and that was one of the questions about, we do have two boards to replace and mirror what we have in the gym right now. We'd have to buy software to run digital boards anyway. So we'd spend whatever we were going to spend on those boards, and then we'd spend money on the software.
Not have digital scoreboards.
Yeah.
Say again?
Or we could just simply opt to not have digital scoreboards at this moment.
At this moment.
We could certainly wait.
They're this confident that they can sell, 150,000 or whatever it is in ads every year, and otherwise, they're eating it.
Yeah.
Why can't they pick up the 7,500 as well? You get them to do that, I think there's a very different conversation.
I'm not even worried about that 7,500. I'm worried about some of this language in the contract. Yeah.
So
and there are three different.
Hold on, Don. Just why don't we have you just get us a memo for that? And we'll address the memo from Chelsea with the company, Don, and then we have some other questions. We've got emails as well for some other questions.
Since we haven't had a chance to peruse that, which I will in depth. If they go out of business, because we're buying this equipment secondhand through an ad agency. This ad agency has been not doing this for the last 20 years. This is relatively new. I want to know, and maybe it's in here, what happens if that ad agency goes belly up, and what's our relationship with the actual manufacturer of the equipment?
It's not in there, but I can do something.
But you can understand that could be a very valid problem since they're not really long term. They've been doing this for 20 years maybe, but they've only been doing this for a short period of time.
I can create language for that, then it becomes something.
Well, then the question is, if you do enough integrating of our language in here, are they going to accept it?
I don't know.
Because this is what they gave us.
Yeah, well,
there was a sense of urgency, not that we at some point wouldn't explore doing this.
Been talking about this since
But
August, but then some of the.
Something that is a sense of urgency.
No, we just wanted to either be done or not, because it was tabled for so long.
Right.
But then, what we didn't have
that.
So that, okay, other than, so we're gonna let our attorney do her magic there when it comes to the scoreboard. Sure.
Is the current school board malfunctioning? Don?
No.
And how old is the current school board?
18 years.
I thought it was 22.
It might be, actually, I'm sorry, it is. I was doing the math wrong. It installed when we installed or opened the sports complex pre-2000. So it might be more than 22.
Hey, Anthony,
we're going to open up another gym at some point, right? So we were just going to move this scoreboard.
The current scoreboard.
Yes. If we were, to another gym to open up. We have an open gym. So even though this one's working, it will continue to work. The gym that doesn't have one.
I'm just wondering.
Sure.
22-year-old scoreboard that's been on this thing. That's not going to move easily.
We could probably come up with a sales pitch to go to someone and ask them to sponsor and actually buy us a board, put their name on it. Because when you look at the Steeler and the Pitt games and you look up on their school board, it says 84 lumber, and that's their wording. They help subsidize that. And then everything in the way of anything would come back to us. Because, I'm about trying to create revenue, not giving it to another entity. It's in Chicago.
Well, the thing is that I'm going to put, if I, as a businessman, if I'm paying $200,000 for a board, I want the gym to be my name. Forget the board. I'm paying that much money. I'm not looking at that board. I'm on Anthony's complex of schools basketball. That's what I'm saying.
Do we have any more?
I do have that. Like our scoreboard in the football field, are all those ads filled up? No. Around that one, because that was.
No, which actually, I think actually helps the argument for hiring a professional ad agency to help us sell advertising. The board paid for a position to be added to our staff to do public relations and advertise sales, and it's difficult. And we're talking about getting a professional ad agency to help. They've also said they'd be happy to bring on board anybody else, part of the package to put it in the football stadium as well. There are some things that are inconsistent with what he told me as far as Chelsea with the contract. There are 3 exit strategies after 10 years. You can roll it over year to year with the same 75-25. You can go 5-year renewal. And maybe this is a new version of what we're talking about. It has to be, again, that's something that I would want to ask him.
10 years.
5 years with the 50-50 split after that, assuming they'd already made their money back over the course of the contract. And the last one is that you can just say, come take your board back. We're going in a different direction. If that's not in what you're reading, then we need to make sure that that gentleman supplies us with that version of that contract.
Yeah.
It has an option in there to purchase the equipment at fair market value.
Yeah,
Which-
what you're thinking is not in here. Yeah. But do we have any other, we're gonna have Chelsea do that and put the memo together and talk to Dawn. So do we have any other questions?
Other than I would say, should we remove this from the agenda for this?
So do we vote on?
Yeah,
I could just pull it off. It's.
Yeah, we could
You know
just
what I mean?
pull it, yeah.
I'm just trying to vote next week if we're not even.
Yeah, we'll have,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine. Is there any other questions on section 8, not related to the scoreboard?
I was waiting for a moment to talk, but we
If
moved
it's a
on.
contract, Chelsea, because she's gonna go through it. That's what,
I will.
because it's apparently a hot mess, as we all just figured out. Any other questions in section 8? No, okay. All right, do we have any, we have no board member resolutions. Do we have any comments from residents on non-agenda items? Yeah, okay. Any board committee reports? We didn't have curriculum this time around, right?
Yeah, you approved the minutes.
Yeah. Did you guys have any board? You did, okay.
I went to the tripod last Thursday. That's the
Wonderful.
Land Bank Advisory Committee in Mont Hall. And a young man offered a presentation on how to survey, identify, plan for and upgrade residences that are distressed. It was an excellent presentation. The young man is just a delightful guy to listen to. He offered to come out and talk to schools or anybody that wants to have him about the field of taking your hands, putting hammers to nails and doing things in the house to help refresh them and fix them up. So he might be a good candidate to come out and talk to the kids about careers. Hands-on wood, cement, landscaping, all that stuff. You have to know that. Yeah, that's what he does.
Did you happen to get his name?
I didn't, but I have it, but I can get it. So,
Awesome.
and he also regularly offers a de minimisly priced course, $100 or so for like a 6-week course where people like me could go out and learn about how this is done for our communities, Pitcairn and Monroeville communities, so I can get a better idea of what to fish for to report back to the TRICOG to say, this might be a property you might be interested in or whatever. So I could be eyes and ears on the ground here to help our neighbors who have people in the neighborhood who are struggling, to help them either get it fixed up or back on the tax rolls or et cetera. So this is a nice guy, a nice course. I learned a lot.
Is he?
It's like flipping. To me, it looks like flipping because you go out.
That's what you sound
The
like you're saying.
bank, just
acquires the property, and then they have a lot of rules that they follow for identifying who's going to be able to buy it, what the timeline is, how it's audited, and then I have to.
It's slow motion flipping.
Yeah, and so you have to get it done within 6 months or 1 year with an extension or 2 years, and then something else happens. So it's all really, really well worked out, but there are caveats to it. So this was good.
Okay.
Very good job.
Thank you.
Leslie, one thing. On 8.2, are we sending advocates down? Because that thing that the AIU, besides the election and introducing the candidates, the legislators are supposed to be there? Or are any advocates going down to that event? We got it from the AIU.
Oh, yeah, and I forget, I was gonna try and go down.
Are you going?
It's on Zoom.
I can't.
Zoom.
Oh, it's on Zoom.
It's a Zoom. Okay. You have to put on there and they'll send you a Zoom link.
I think it's in the weekly report.
No, to go through a Zoom link. I do Zoom link.
Oh, but you're representing Gateway?
No, I'm just representing myself.
I had thought about going.
Because we have advocates, I wondered if we were sending specific people.
Were you thinking of going?
Valerie, you had a committee meeting?
Yes, which I mentioned earlier.
It's Christmas up.
Snowing. No, we, like I said, last Wednesday, the athletic committee had a meeting with Dawn Hall regarding the House Bill 41, and which we discussed earlier.
My king.
Go ahead, move on.
One more thing, Dr. Rossi, we're supposed to vote for somebody to act as a school board liaison member to the Allegheny County Schools Health Insurance Consortium. Yes. They have a board of trustees, and they're supposed to be school board members. So they've given us a list. I don't know. It's optional, and so there's bios there. If you, I read the bios. I don't. Again, it's optional. I think we had this trouble last time we did this. Yeah, you could vote or not vote. No. I'm not running. I'm just saying, if we wanted to vote, then we would make a recommendation. Our secretary would vote on our behalf for one of these 4 candidates here. I don't know any of these people. I would recommend just take a look at their bios, and if you're not comfortable, we don't vote. We don't vote. Yeah.
Didn't you have a?
Yeah, I have one. From my committee meeting,
Which is committee?
for buildings and grounds. And if John, if you're still on.
I am.
So the roof at Cleveland Stewart is in dire need of replacement. And I think it's a emergency to be able to start buying the parts to getting that ball moving for replacement. And if that, that can also be agreed upon. John, could you explain that to them a little bit more in detail?
With the roof at CSC, it's a 26-year plus roof. There is a lot of parts to it that are leaking now, not leaking to the point where it's a danger, but they are leaking into the building. And we've had roofing companies up there, and in order to do any repairs, we need to remove large sections of roof. So they're basically saying it would be cheaper in the long run to replace the roof, so they're coding it as non-repairable because they are such large sections.
And is this the roof that we already put half of it?
Currently, we have, I believe it's $650,000 in this year's budget.
Project.
And the plan was to apply for the grant, which is a competitive grant, so there is no guarantee. The grant just came out, I think in January, February. The deadline was just coming up here recently. So we're probably 3, 4, 5 months away from a final decision. So we don't know if we'll get the grant or not.
So is this in dire need where we would have to vote to take the money elsewhere before we pass the 26, 27 budget so that they can get moving on it for the summer?
We've been talking, there's a few options. I think what John and Anthony would be talking about is a letter of intent that, we would approve a letter of intent with the company. And, obviously that'd be part of the budget. Now, Mike, John and I have been working on some different scenarios that we're going to flesh out at the finance meeting Thursday.
Dr. Rossi, I'm sorry.
If we flesh that out on Thursday, would we need to make something an action item?
The letter of intent.
A letter of
on
intent.
Monday.
Okay, but not current writing out a check, a letter of intent to write out a check.
Right.
Okay.
You had mentioned the fact that we, many a times when we apply for a grant, not knowing if we're going to get it, and the grants don't come in until after, because we would do the project over the summer. And then you were going to check, I think,
Yes,
to find out, can we pay ourselves back for that? If we would get the
We
grant?
believe it's retro.
Is it retro? Do you know for sure? We're positive.
Yeah.
Because the last time we talked about it, it was like.
Yeah, we just did the same thing with the roof for UP. We got that grant money. We paid for it up front, and it's
Yeah, when we were talking about.
the project has to be completed before they're gonna give you their money. We have to go through a bunch of steps, send them a bunch of different payroll, all kind of stuff to complete the process, then to verify everything's done and completed to satisfy the state, then they give us our money.
Right, if they don't, we still have to come up with the.
Right,
grants.
yeah.
So it has to be ready for the happen.
Right.
It's bad enough.
Yeah.
Right. You can't trust the state to say, oh, yeah, you'll get the grant, and then we find out after the fact, we didn't get the grant.
Right.
Now we gotta come up with the additional revenue.
The other two things I think, other than the roof, that as after this storm driving around, I paid a lot of close attention. One is, could we find a way to put the carts into a building to secure them? That way we're not buying another cart that's been damaged by wind or anyone trying to steal them. They're just out and exposed.
Oh, the golf cart, the athletic.
That's it. That
trainers and-
isn't, that's currently in the budget for next year. Yes. Yep.
On his
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
You said two, that was one. Did you lose it?
Other ones goes with that, so we're good.
Okay, you're good. Is that all your?
The other thing is the cleanliness, but I don't know if that's going to.
No.
We'll talk. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna be going.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
So you had the budget or the buildings and grounds committee meeting, and that's what.
Yeah, that's
came out
my
of
main
it.
concern is
Yeah.
the roof.
Okay. And Jeanette, did you have anything on intergovernmental?
No, still working on a date.
Working on a date to meet with some of
Working on a
the
date.
council and the mayor?
I know there's a whole calendar there. Apparently, we got to pick a date and go with it now.
We whittled it down. At least there was a lot of.
There was a lot of dates and times.
Of all the states, there's only two. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're.
Your big one's coming up.
Yeah, so the finance meeting is this Thursday at 5 p.m. It starts with the review of the financial audit from last year.
Yeah.
And then we'll start getting the first view of the budget. I would say to the public, because, I saw some Facebook posts today, if you as the public have some information or want to provide comments, there is a reason Leslie asks for comments from residents on agenda items before the meetings. People will, make posts online or whatever else. As a school board member, while I may read some of those, I think we would all appreciate more that people would actually actively engage in the official process and come to school board meetings and speak on agenda items if you have an opinion.
That helps. Yeah.
It absolutely helps.
It helps.
It helps in both ways because some people make assumptions on things we need or don't need as a district, and they voice that with authority when they can come and say, okay, do we need this? Why are snow blowing?
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, I've said it before, we read it on Facebook, but we're not answering.
No.
We are a body of 9 voting, and we don't speak for one another, and none of us are going to do that on Facebook.
You think we're in good shape with the tarp in middle school with the snow? We're okay?
Well, that's what they tell us.
Are you trying your hardest?
That's what they're telling us.
I think you should do the ones.
Tell you right now, canceled. My son will get your course at 7:30.
Well, I was going to hold off because it is snowing. Mike, if you want to just throw it up real quick, I'll go through this real fast and then we can hit on it next week. Just had the pleasure of going to the Forbes Road National Technical Honor Society. Ray Francis, the assistant principal at the high school, myself with Jeremy and Shaylee. They did a great job, and we were glad to be there representing the district. Jeremy also put some information out there about Forbes. They had their open house last week.
And they fed everybody.
Scheduling is coming up, so a lot of good stuff there. Jeremy's also putting together some senior spotlights. Some have already been posted. Just wanted to give you a sneak peek of that. I wanted to acknowledge Jeremy. He won honorable mention for his district promo video through PennSPRO, which is the Pennsylvania School Public Relations Association. So congratulations to Jeremy. The Paradigm and STEM-C, we could talk a little bit about this next week. Some good stuff happening there with our cybersecurity and our STEM-C. The podcast that was kind of referenced earlier, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But we had some individuals come in at the bottom left there, and our students were able to interview, and there's podcasts, and they're doing a great job with it. This is some brand new equipment from the STEM-C grant that we received. The Macy's event bag hunger campaign, I think you were there. It's also a great event there. Want to recognize our school social workers, Karen, Eliana, Aaron, and Gina, which do a tremendous job. We appreciate all the hard work they provide for our students. And then, Jen, I just wanted to mention our swimmers, WPLs and states, correct? Listed here.
Yeah, there's other
The Whitfield events.
Whitfield events at Pitt, and then those are the swimmers that qualified for states, and Aaliyah placed 8th in the state overall in her 50 free.
Thank you. So congratulations to them as their season comes to a close. We wanted to welcome home Jaquan Brisker, who signed with the Steelers recently. Yeah, no, well, he's with the Steelers now.
With
so
the Steelers.
Welcome home, Jaquan. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Motion to adjourn.
Okay, before we adjourn, can we just have a real quick executive meeting?
Yeah, we're gonna have executive session now until we're done.
Who do we need here?
Anthony.